What's up, y'all? Here with Richard from AFS today. We're gonna go over some of the new stabilizers. Really excited about this new range of stabilizers. We've had a chance to get some time on them. Really had a lot of fun, so we figured it made sense to go over the line. Richard, where should we start? Glide or surf?
Either way.
All right, let's start with the glide. I
Okay.
feel like that's Richard's domain expertise. But yeah, so I'll transition it over to you. Comes in three sizes: 43, 41, and 39. So with that, I'll hand it
Yeah.
over.
Originally, obviously, downwind weapon, but ended up being able to use it for winging, power winging, any activity where glide is going to be interesting and efficiency on the pumping is going to be something to look for. I think the main difference compared to some of the older stabilizers is how efficient they are and also how less taxing they are while pumping. So they're basically stabilizers that allow you to pump for longer without hurting your legs, basically. And they're obviously great attribute for any downwinding, longer ride or whatever, or upwind, downwind on a power wing, on a wing, or whatever. If you want to be able to catch up with some fast-moving swell, anything that's going to get you to need to pump for longer. For dog starting also, if you're aiming to go for your longest pump session ever, those stabilizers are going to be really interesting. They are efficient.
Yeah.
Also, the outline that they have give them those this forward momentum that's going to be really interesting. You sacrifice a bit of maneuverability, but still, they are actually way turnier than what people would expect, mainly because the surface area around the tips is pretty much nothing. So even if they are quite spanny, they're actually really turny.
Yeah.
What they won't love to do is basically doing some low speed, tight turning. That's kind of their limitation. This is where some of the other stabilizers in the range are going to be excelling at.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell folks, like, if you want to accelerate your, whatever foiling practice it is, and increase the glide, and I think the U glide is the answer, right? So
Absolutely.
Whether, if you're foil surfing somewhere where you've got long period swell and you want to connect some waves and glide out the back, it's a great option. And I think, in addition to low speed maneuverability, the other thing you lose, I think, is it is quite sensitive, right?
It is,
because the short cord, your pitch sensitivity is a little heightened. And so you're going to want to be mindful of that through transitions, whether you're jiving on a parawing or a wing. That's where it requires a little more adept foot placement or weight placement on the board.
The reduced chord is a big factor, obviously, but also the thickness of the profile. It's a really, really thin profile. That's the thinnest profile out of all the stabilizers in the range. The efficiency comes from that, obviously. So less chord plus super thin profile. We do recommend for people which are not used to those super thin stabilizers to push their mast slightly forward, maybe 1 or 2 cm forward. And that's going to compensate quite a bit the lack of front foot pressure that some of those riders are used to. And so it's a good compensation because the foil is going to be, the stabilizer is not going to push as much as a regular stabilizer. And so some people will like it to be, will like their foil to be slightly more forward than what they used to on a regular stabilizer.
Yeah, and I think that brings us pretty well into the U carve, right? Which, if you feel like the U glide is a little too unstable, this is a great kind of answer to that, right?
I agree.
It's not going to be locked in. You're gonna keep a good amount of glide. I think we were pretty impressed in some of our testing recently, where it feels like you lose a little bit of speed, but the amount of forgiving and low end grunt you pick up from this profile was really interesting. So pretty different shape. I would say this kind of replaces your Silk HA. So obviously really different look. We lost the bumps. So with that, I'll let you kind of tell us what your thoughts are on this.
I think the main difference compared to the U-Glide is actually they actually have a profile that is not too far away. So they are actually really thin stabilizers, those ones. But the forgiveness comes mainly from the outline. It's quite meaty in the middle section of the stabilizer here. So there's quite a lot of surface here that gives the grunt at low speed that you need to get this forgiveness. Plus the dihedral of this foil with that nice moustache here gives the maneuverability and the tolerance around the turning activities basically. So it's actually really great all-round stabilizer. Most riders would be more than happy actually to ride this U-Carve, I think, especially because it comes with quite a lot of sizes: 130, 140, 150, and 160.
Yep.
So from really small foils to way bigger foil in the range, they're actually going to match the need of most riders, I feel, like in most activities, from duck starting to wave riding, front foiling, wake foiling, downwinding. They've been, yeah, we had some amazing feedback from customers using those U-Carve, and I think it's going to satisfy heaps of people.
Yeah, we had a lot of foil assist too. We've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, if I'm confused on what to use, I'm mainly going to use the U-Carve basically.
Yeah.
If I bring over one stabilizer to do any kind of foiling, I think that's the go-to.
Yeah. So then on the carviest end, which is like kind of how I break this down simply, right? You've got speed and glide, fantastic middle ground, and then maximum carve. We've got the new U-Surf. So new that we don't have any stickers on this one. So trust us, it is this. We went a lot smaller. This is the 120, 120, 135, and
150.
150. So good amount of size ranges.
Yeah.
Generally on the smaller, well, the 120 at least is on the smaller side. But I was pretty impressed for how small this is. Very forgiving. Still a fair amount of grunt in pumping. Like I didn't, I was worried at 120 that would just, you go to pump and it would drop out. And pretty versatile. Yeah, I use this all the way to an Enduro 900, from Silk 750 to an Enduro 900, and it worked really well. So
yeah, they're all pretty rangy actually. I think all the new foils and stabilizers of the range this year have a big range. Realize that. And just to come back quickly on the U-Carve, in the past we used to avoid, decent riders used to avoid the big stabilizers because they were too draggy, not high performance enough basically, and that has changed now. Like from the U-Glide to the U-Carve, and obviously the bigger sizes of the U-Surf, they're all high performance enough to be a choice even for a good rider, as long as the condition makes the need of those sizes. So I wouldn't be shy about using a bigger U-Carve for bigger size foil, bigger U-Glide, or a bigger U-Surf, because basically the profile that we choose this year is high performance enough so that the bigger size are going to be high performance enough in overall. So that's something that's really reassuring. I think on the choice of size that you do, you will get what you need out of it. That is for sure. No matter what your level is, just matching obviously the front wing with the decent size stabilizer is going to be. There's going to be some matches that are going to make more sense than others. But yeah, forgiveness of the U-Surf is a clearly tighter turn, great forgiveness. You sacrifice a bit of glide, but that's still going to be way glidier than the original Silk stabilizers.
Yeah,
because they are thinner than those ones.
And the first thing I noticed was a little less upturn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the thinness and the lack of upturn on the back.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's slightly newer profile.
So the glide to forgiveness ratio is crazy good on this one.
Yeah.
Tighter turns, crazy good behind the boat, obviously.
Yeah.
Crazy good for anybody proning.
Foil assist again.
Yeah, foil assist again, obviously. Yeah. So, yeah. It's
like, even with the weight of a foil assist, like were what, maybe waist high waves.
Yeah.
It felt like I could pump, Silk 750, this in a 120.
Yeah.
And all the weight from the foil assist, it was still really good.
Yeah, just to explain probably would be the limitation of a stabilizer like that compared to, let's say, an extreme like the U-Glide, like an open swell, like swell that's not going to be steep at all, something like that. Obviously, a U-Glide is going to expand the glide and the ability of the foil to reach those higher speed with a less slope, and that's going to be where the U-Glide is going to be shining the most. Anything that's going to be slightly steeper with some stages where it gets not so steep anymore, maybe the U-Carve could be right in between. And obviously, if it's steeper waves, peeling wave with wide waters and stuff like that, the U-Surf is obviously the choice where the control increase is going to be really enjoyable for tighter turn in the foam and stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, Richard, thanks for helping us go over the new stabilizer lineup. It's an exciting year at AFS. Just so many great new things. Not just new things, but a lot of fun.